Welcome everyone. Welcome to another Astral interview. And here with me, I have Harkiran Singh. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Harkiran Singh.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great pleasure to have you. So before we go into any details, let's talk about you a little bit. Let's talk about your background, a little bit about your history, where you grew up, maybe.
I'm born and raised in Vancouver.
Wonderful.
Most of my life I've spent in electronic engineering. Basically, my specialty was audio video.
Wonderful.
Then roughly 10 years ago, I came on the path of spirituality.
Okay.
From there, I got into various modalities of meditations, holistic healing. Then I ended up grabbing one path, the path of Sikhism, where basically it teaches you how to get your internal sound current started and use that sound current to go within.
Thank you for sharing that. Now you spoke about you used to be in technology before in AV, and then you discovered spirituality. So what caused the shift, if you don't mind me asking, or was there an incident or something that caused you to look into spirituality more?
You know what? Like from my audio video work, I did a career change about 3 years ago into the financial work. But spirituality, it just happened. You know, when divine wants you to come on the path, he finds a way, to bring you on the path, right? So I met various teachers that actually, more I met them, the more I got involved into meditations and spirituality.
Do you want to share? You want to share a little bit about the teachers you met?
Yep, I can, right? See, being born and raised in Canada, being an electronic engineer background, I'm not into rituals.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted a path of practicality, the real path. Like I don't want to waste time. So on my path of spirituality, I was looking for teachers that have already done it, that have already met divine. Not just saying, oh yeah, I had a vision. No. Like when they want to talk to divine, instantly he'll be there, right? So about 10 years ago, I met my first teacher. There's a corporate lawyer from Chicago. Then he got me on the basics. From there, a few years after, we met a teacher actually in UK that we did the practical work with him. There's one thing, seeing divine, talking to divine. The second phase is actually being with divine. Right. And a lot of people talk about it, but most of them have never done the practical. So it is a huge difference between ritual and practical. Practical is very difficult. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life.
Right. So there's no easy path, is that's what we're saying?
Yeah, it is. But I've been in this path for 10 years, and I was blessed to sit by a true teacher and watch other people come and ask questions, right? And when you see a lot of people spend 40, 30 years doing meditations, but they're doing it all wrong, right? This is something you cannot just learn online, pay a fee, learn online. Yes, I'm doing meditations, or follow a teacher that has never gotten anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. To be a student, it's your right to ask the teacher, where are you sitting? Where have you gotten to, right? Because your time and your breath is your wealth right now. If you waste that, you'll never get it back.
Yeah.
So in your research, you got to make sure you have the proper teacher, right?
Of course, yes.
And a lot of people I see, they're dedicated, they have the hunger, but they don't have the true teachers helping them, right?
Right. So then let's talk about that a little bit. How does one discern a true teacher from a false teacher?
First thing is you have to beg. You have to beg the divine every day, like every 20 minutes, right? You do your thoughts all the time begging, show me the right path. It's up to the universe, it's up to him, right? To show you the right path. Now you have to ask for it. The biggest problem is we never ask. We ask for everything else, you know, we ask for wealth, we ask for happiness, peace, right? But did you ever ask to show the right path, the right way to him, the easiest way? Like when Sikhism came out, there were already so many big religions out there. Right? Why did Guru Nanak Dev Ji need to bring out Sikhism? Sikhism is not a religion, it's actually a way of life for everybody. And what Guru Nanak Dev Ji, our first Guru, gave us was a very simple way of going within. Using a mantra, a mind tool, from the mantra, resonating your internal sound current, using a sound current, closing the 9 doors and going within. Instead of working on the Muladhara, using your Kundalini, working on that, that's such a hard process. Like if you look at what tinnitus, ringing in the ear, we all hear it, right? And there's no cure for it. But we all hear the ringing in the ear. And the Sikhism, that's what we're based on, because that ringing in the ear, right, is what we call Shabd. And only a sadhu can check in and tell you if you have the right sound current or not.
Shabd meaning word, right?
No, it's your internal sound current.
Okay. What was the word you used?
The sounds we hear. The mantra that I use is Waheguru, but you can use any mantra you want.
Right. Yes, that's the method of meditation we're taught too. We use a word to meditate, and we're given the word, and we meditate from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. every day.
Nobody can give you the word.
Right.
The word is given from inside. It rings from inside, right?
Right.
But a mantra, like the mantra you can use, like for the Sikhs, we use Waheguru. Yeah. For the Muslims, you guys use Ya Allah, right?
Yes. Depends.
For Hindus, Ram Ram.
Yeah. Yes, it depends.
You can use any 2 words. Like reason we use 2 words is because you want to balance your right and left, your pub and your breath. So when we say Wahe Guru, there's a gap in the middle, and the gap is where you listen.
Right.
If you say Wahe Guru, you will not be able to sum that up. Like if you put your finger below your nose and breathe out, you'll see one side is more, one side is less, right?
Yes.
So if you have more air coming from your right hand side, your right nostril, you're more vibrating in the lower tamogun thoughts. But if you get more air coming from your left hand, is rajogun, your family thoughts and all of that. So to balance that out, you got to do a mantra that will work on both sides. So we say why Guru, why Guru, and the mind comes into the sound and listens.
Right.
And listening is in the gap. Where the gap is Wahe, listen, Guru, listen. Same with your mantra, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. In that gap is where you listen.
Right. And you're
when you do meditation,
you're listening for?
And you're listening for your own sound. The biggest trick here is you got to learn to listen or hear your own voice. And mom's sitting there making all this noise, right? Can you still hear your voice when you're chanting?
No, of course not.
Why? Guru. We have internal ears. Can we hear our own voice? All these meditations is teaching the mind how to listen and how to sit in the body.
Right. So you said you practice many meditation techniques.
Yeah, in the beginning, you know, when you're hungry to meet divine,
yes,
you want to find a quicker way, right? You're running over. I got into Reiki. I did channeling. I did native Indian work,
right?
Shamanic healing, right? The Chinese medicine. bone therapy, right? At the end, where did I come? Back to my own roots, to Simran. Then I realized Simran is a complete methodology. It is not a meditation. It's a methodology that will take you straight to divine.
Right. So talk to me about.
There's so many obstacles.
There's so many obstacles.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
Yeah, because when you're doing meditation, there's a meditation to get you to a certain point.
Right.
So Simran is a methodology that will take you all the way to divine.
Right.
And we're blessed now. We have teachers, we have students that have gone all the way.
Right. And how do you recognize them as going all the way?
You know what? When you sit in their presence and you see a lot of things happen, and then you will realize, okay, yeah, you'll experience with them. So there's a new temple built in UK right now. It holds 10,000 people. It is open in that one temple. You'll have all faiths. You'll have Sikhs, you'll have Muslims, you'll have Hindus, you'll have Christians using their own faith to actually meet divine.
Right. Wonderful.
It is a beautiful place to be, because the biggest thing with meeting divine is you cannot have any differences, no differences between any religion or any faith. Oh. If you do, you'll never meet divine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're all.
And that one place you'll have love. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all one, and all paths lead to divine, right? That's what they're supposed to do.
It does, yeah. Yeah, the first thing is don't have any differences between any faith, any person. Stop judging.
Yes, of course. Of course. The main thing is those are all things of the ego, right? Judgment and doubt, and all those things are things of the ego. And so the sooner we are able to learn to shut those things down, then the sooner we can open ourselves up to divine.
Yeah, yesterday we had a huge sessions of, we had 2 big sessions of shamanic healing and spiritual hypnotherapy.
Wonderful.
And in the middle, we were working on the heart chakra, in there to get rid of our ego, to release our grudges. One ceremony was anybody that you have a grudge against, you're angry with, internally in the mind, I want you to wash your feet with water. Oh. And now the feedback I'm getting is, once I did that ritual of washing a person's feet, they go, I feel so relaxed today. I don't feel that anger anymore.
That's so beautiful. Well, we know from the Christian, Shabda also means word, right?
Yes, it also means word. There are 2 meanings to it, but I'm referring to the internal sound current.
So let's talk about the internal sound current. Yeah. How do you recognize it?
So when you use a mantra, you're reciting it over and over, and you're asking divine to bless you, then you start hearing the internal sound current. At first you start hearing crickets, there'll be like a high-pitched sound, like a high-pitched frequencies. Okay. Then you got to go ask your teacher, okay, what this is, and the teacher will tell you, are you hearing the shubd right now or not?
Right.
Only your teacher can verify that if you're hearing the true sound or not. Right. But a lot of these people, they become high vibrational souls, but they think something wrong with the ears because they're hearing those frequencies, and they keep on running to the doctor, right?
So when we talk about frequency and we talk about sound, and like I imagine when somebody hears what they hear, everyone's hearing something different, right? Not the same pitch.
No, mostly in the beginning is all the same pitches. And it changes, right?
And it changes.
Yeah.
And so how would you
There's only 2.
How would you tell your teacher what the pitch is? Unless
a true teacher, you don't tell him anything. You don't need to tell him. You look in your eyes, they'll know.
Yes.
You don't, even the words, like, you don't need to say nothing. You just go in front of him, he look at you. Even me and you speaking right now, I can go to my teacher and ask what we said. He'll tell us word by word.
Wow.
He's in 3rd dimension. we have time. In the fourth dimension, time is an illusion.
Yes.
When I say find a true teacher, I mean a true teacher. If right now, if I leave my body, I pass on, my teacher UK should know that, okay, Harkiran Singh has gone from this world now. He should be able to track my mind wherever my mind goes. This whole game is about the mind. The karmic cycles are about the mind, not the physical.
Right. So you call it a game, but it's a very serious matter, right? The idea of the fact that your mind is really in control. So talk about how you can take control then.
First, you got to teach the mind how to listen.
Okay.
Right? How to sit in the body. Most of the time, what it is, our mind is always running out of the 9 doors we have. It never sits down. It never comes in the body. And we're never at peace. When you wake up in the morning, what are the first thoughts we have? The 5 emotions we have in our body. In Sikhism, we call somebody by the name of Kal. Kal is what controls your 5 emotions. So you wake up right in the morning, his job is to throw your mind out of the body. Start giving you these negative thoughts. Well, my neighbor said this, my spouse said this, my kids didn't do this. Oh, I at work, I gotta go, I don't like this. It starts giving you those thoughts and emotions and feelings where mind is thrown out of your body. But if you wake up and do your meditations and teach the mind over and over how to sit in the body, then you get away from all that.
So
right.
So there's no way around the idea of meditating every single day in ritualistic way every single day. There's no way around this, correct?
Well, there is. There is around this, right? If you teach your mind how to do it, if you practice your meditations every day, that's what's this for, right?
Right.
That's why you got to do your morning meditations, right?
Right. Okay, so you spoke about the 9 doors. Tell me a little bit about these 9 doors.
So the 9 doors, you have the 2 eyes, the nostrils, mouth, and your sexual organs, right? So every morning the mind uses one of those doors to go out, especially our eyes, right? That's why when you do meditation, you close your eyes, right?
You're not giving any input.
Yeah, because what it is, if you meditate, open your eyes, the mind will never come and sit, right? That's why you got to close your eyes and keep the mind sitting inside.
So some people say your
go ahead.
Position of your eyes can tell a story of your state meditatively. The structure of your face can tell a story of where you are spiritually. Is this true?
Yes, your eyes can, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Your eyes will have the glow, right?
Right. So when someone spends time meditating, it's possible to spend time meditating, but if you're doing it incorrectly, then you're wasting your time, correct?
Yeah, a lot of people put their focus on the body, and then they get headaches. They got so many issues. Some people are focusing on the third eye. When your main goal is to leave the body, then why would you focus on the body?
Right.
Right? And those are the same people that when they want to leave the body, the mind is trying to leave the body, but because they're focusing on the body is shaking, they're going for so many headaches, but they cannot separate. That's because all the time they were meditating, they were focusing on the body. But when you focus on the sound, right? Then when mind to get out of the body, it'll be easier to leave. Because in meditation, there's stages. First stage we call Saskras, where we're summing the pavan, we're evening the breath. That's where we're balanced the Ira Pingala. The second stage is the Sukma channel. We do the Sukma channel because we want to separate the mind from the breath, so the mind will sit in the body. When the mind sits in the body, then we use Rom, our pulse, to teach the mind how to sit. Then if your internal currents are going, sounding, right? from the roam, the heart pulse, the mind will automatically lock to the sound current. There's only two ways to go through the 10th gate, is by sound current or light.
Right.
Only those two things can cross the 10th gate and take you to divine.
So once you cross the 10th gate, let's say, then you're on the other side, then what?
First stage when you go on the other side is we call Sun Mandal. After 10th gate is first stage is called Sun Mandal. The second stage is called Begum Purashar. Then you got Nejkar and Sagegar. Sagegar is where divine sits. You have to teach the mind how to sit there. There's people in the UK right now sit for 30, 40 hours in that stage. So when divine wants to come and get you, is up to him. But you have to practice over and over how to sit there. Like every night, if you don't have any dreams, your mind actually goes to a place, checks in, and comes back home again.
Right. So when you say if you don't...
This whole game is practical.
Wonderful.
Go ahead.
So you say when you dream, if you don't dream, your mind goes and sits there. So then what's the benefit of dreaming or not dreaming?
Dreaming is basically the mind is running outside, running through the 9 doors, right?
Right.
When like I rarely have any dreams. Like I rarely have any dreams, basically, right? When you teach your mind sit and you use a mantra every night, the mind goes home and checks in.
Right.
The meditations are usually done at night because you're working in the daytime. So at nighttime, the body sleeps, the mind is awakened. The mind does the meditations and the body sleeps.
Right.
Then you have to learn how to follow the mind home.
And I guess the universal mind is sleeping too. Most of everyone is sleeping. So it's the mind, the world of the mind is quiet too, because everyone's sleeping.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. There's so many stages. One stage, when you have this internal sound current going, then you basically sit in dhyan, focus, listening to the shabd and find where it's coming from. It's called dhyan, right? Now from there, there's another whole new dimension of meditations.
Right. Now, when you...
A lot of people waste so much time like going all these various things that where a meditation is to reduce the thoughts, kill the thoughts, right? Because when you go deep in nirvana, every time you have a thought, you'll come back up. But we go out there, do so many type of meditations to get more thoughts, to add more thoughts, right?
Right, right.
That's where the confusion comes. Our goal is to become thoughtless.
Yes. So there's certain things you can do to become thoughtless. For example, when I focus on something on the outside, I become thoughtless. Like if I focus my eyes on something, I'll become thoughtless inside. But is it really thoughtless, or it's just my focus is somewhere else?
Your focus is somewhere else. Thoughtless, it took me right now. I spent 3 months with my teacher meditating 17 hours a day with a mantra. When I came back, I still had a little bit of thought. Most of my thoughts were gone, but I still had a little bit.
Right. I think we all go through phases in our day when we're thoughtless. We must, because there's no way that God leaves us alone all the time, right? He's always there.
It depends how I'm going to answer that question, because every person on a stage has a different answer to that question. Somebody in the beginning, you say yes, but somebody that's been doing practical 10 years, no, God has nothing to do with this.
God has nothing to do with it.
It's your mind. You're a child of divine, but the divine is waiting for you to come home, right? He'll see, are you hungry? Are you serious to come home? Or are you just gulped in something we call Maya, or this worldly possessions, right?
I hear you.
Because a lot of people say, yes, I'm religious, but I don't have time to do the work. I'm busy with my work.
Yes.
But the question that, the question how I got on this path, one person asked me a question. He goes, this 60, 70 years of life, is basically a test for us. How about the life after this? It could be 100,000 years, could be 1,000 years. Isn't that important to you? And I go, what do you mean? He goes, we were given this birth because this is the only life or what you call it, a way we can meet divine. No other life can do it, like the trees, the animals, they have no way of meeting divine. Only on his human birth that we can meet divine while we're living. And after this, once we go, there's other life forms, right? There, like in Sikhism, there's 8.4 million life forms we do, right? But the thing is, we don't even care. We think we live once, we go happy, merry, and after we go to heaven. You know, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
Right? There's so much involved in this.
So when you 8.4
in the 21st century, I'm shocked that most people don't know.
when you say in Sikhism there's 8.4 million life forms, but that would be universal, right? Not necessarily in Sikhism. Either there is or there isn't.
Oh yeah, and universally, yes, universally, yes.
So what do these 8.4 million life forms mean to us? How do we know they exist? How do we?
Yeah, look at a tree, the mountains. There's so many things, right?
Yes.
The ocean, or the creatures in the ocean.
So
there's so many right now. Like you said, like NASA right now. NASA, right? So they have our Bible, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, prakashed in NASA. So our first Guru wrote 500 years ago about the different universes. All is written in the Bible. So now they're studying it. Oh yeah, okay. How do we get to this universe? How do we get to this universe? It's all written in our Bible.
Yes. So
if you look at the California,
the Sri Guru Granth Sahib also, you know, in Sanskrit we have the Vedas. They also wrote about universes prior. In Quranic literature, there's also speaking of different worlds and different universes. So all these are written, but how do they help us for a practical reason? How, you know, they exist?
Okay, so
go ahead.
One example is like all those 8 scientists that did their research for almost like 9 years right now of all the Qurans, all the Bibles of every faith. At the end, they chose Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and they go, this scripture only speaks about truth. Now the biggest library in the United States, the 7th floor, is given to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. It's actually there, and they tell you the reasons why they chose. This wasn't the Sikhs. They didn't do any research. They were Christians. There are all these different scientists that did all that research. If you Google it, it'll come up. It'll show you. And number 2, anybody that wrote in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, they met divine, and they came back and wrote how they did it.
Right. So
all the teachings in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, like the Sikhs, the problem we have in here, like the Sikhs supposed to do the practical, but 90% are just reading it and are not doing anything about it. That's where you lose it. Right. Only 10% are the ones that doing the practical. You know, you do the practical, something happens, you go read in Gurbani. Okay, this happened to me. Is this right or wrong, right?
Right.
But the younger generation now, they're the one who's really going at it. They're the ones who's doing the practical now.
So when we
not only in
yes,
it basically is in all faiths. My teacher that I work with works with all faiths. You will see Christians that are hearing the sound current. Yeah. You will see Muslims like not talking about Nur, but actually sitting in Nur, right? Talking about Hinduism, not actually doing Murti Puja, but actually going to Devlok, meeting Ganesh Ji and Krishna Ji in the mind. The mind goes to Devlok, actually meets them, right?
Wonderful.
It's all practical, not ritual. It's a big difference.
That's wonderful. So also tell me, because the different faiths are different, the faces of the different faiths are different, then everyone's experience will be different when they work with the meditation, correct?
You know what? You're right. But the main question I asked them, what religion does God practice?
No religion.
Yeah.
No religion.
At the end, you know what happens? At the more meditations you do, at the end, you become nothing. There's nothing left.
Yes. Yes, yes.
There's no more religion. There's no more you. Only thing you've become is the love, divine. That's why in the temple in the UK there, you'll have Muslim, Sikh, Christian, Hindu, one. And we're like a family. We're so bounded. Like we don't see any difference. You'll have a Sikh guy giving out the langar. You'll have a Muslim guy come cleaning the floors. You know, you're a Hindu guy is doing something else. Like to us, we don't have a label on each other.
That's wonderful. And that's the way.
And right now, before COVID hit, there was supposed to be a very big wedding happening in UK in August. 10,000 people, a wedding between a Sikh boy and a Hindu girl in that temple in UK. But because of COVID-19, it got canceled, right?
Right. Yes, almost everything.
When you start living without judging, life becomes beautiful.
It's a very simple rules, but very difficult rules.
It is. Yeah. More and more research you do, you'll come back to simplicity. Even your meditation. Before we used to do meditation, or what am I going to get today? Is anything going to happen to me? Now you do meditation, that's to praise Him, that's to love Him. Meditate. When you do a prayer, what is a prayer? The prayer is meant. It has feelings. It has emotions. Just remembering divine. That's all a prayer is. It doesn't matter. You don't even have to say anything.
Yes, of course.
Just make it simple, and then everything will happen, right?
Yes. So, you know, when you say everyone's lifetime is 80, 100 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So if they don't figure this out at a young age, they figure it out late in their life, then they have less time to accomplish what you're saying.
No, actually, what it is we all had so many life paths already, right? We have done work in every life. Like you see, like when I got into Chinese medicine, right? I learned privately because I wanted a family lineage, right? I was needling my teacher's body within 1 week. Yeah. My teacher goes, "How do you know how to do the needle so quick?" And in hypnotherapy, when I did my past lives,
yes,
I realized that one of my past lives was I was a Buddhist monk.
Yes.
So all life, I grew up when I was younger. I did the Chinese martial arts. I did a Chinese dragon dance, right? I've done so many different Chinese martial arts. Even still right now, I'm into martial arts, right? Now I go, why I'm so connected to the Chinese culture, right? And that's when I realized through my past lives that I spent one life form as a Buddhist monk.
So when we talk about this reincarnation, and I'm just going to throw out the opposite camp in this, the people who don't believe in reincarnation, somebody would say that this is just the universal consciousness. All this information is in the universal consciousness, and this is why you're able to access it. Doesn't necessarily have to do with you in individual, but the fact that we're all one, you're able to pull on this different information and experience.
No, I think we're in the 21st century now. Right. If you're in the 21st century, you don't believe in divine, then nobody can help you, right? That's your own path. You look, even forget about religion, we go quantum physics, right? We talk about even like with hypnotherapy. There was a doctor, Dr. Michael Newton. He did life between life regressions, right. And he did about 7,000 regressions.
Yes.
In those 7,000 regressions, what he does is he takes you to a past life when you're dying. From that stage, who came to get you? What happened? Where did you go? Then you went to judgment. After that, you're given two bodies to pick. And the life we come here is what lessons you want to experience. You know, people say they blame God, or God doesn't love me, this happened. God has nothing to do with. You chose your life and what lessons you came here to learn. Right. So stop blaming him. He has nothing to do with it, right? So he just saw 7,000 regressions, and each regression had a rebirth, right? So, but how can you, like nowadays, how can you even deny that, right? It's impossible.
So when you...
Reincarnation, there's so much information out there.
It's just two different forms, right? It's whether you see it a linear life and you being a past life and all that, versus us being a universal consciousness and us accessing the universal consciousness. They're two different forms. The outcome is the same, right? You're able to know who you weren't, or accessing.
No, the outcome is not same. One outcome is you're going to be free from having rebirth again. The other one is maybe depends how much life you'll go in for reincarnating, but you won't get the human life form again till you don't know how many after life forms, right? Right. It's not when you die, you'll come back as a human again. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
So that's why right now there's a lot of people sharing information, telling you, no, this is what it is. There's people that have done their practicals, and so what's the doubt, right? They're open to talk to you, and there's no charge. It's free.
Right, right.
Like Paisa was here last year so many times. Simran Singh, he works with so many churches in Chicago. Right?
Right.
Yeah, he only speaks English, but I'm telling you, you have the people around you. Still, you don't believe, then nobody can help you. This is your life form, right?
Yeah, there's no answer then. So, okay. So now let's talk a little bit about the different people you've worked with.
Yeah.
Who have you worked with, and what can you tell us about them? Your guides.
My guides, basically, when I got into channeling, I found this one teacher, old guy who had 6 guides, right? And I did my course with him to initiate to meet my higher purpose guide. And when I met my guide in the beginning, see, in the beginning, it's very difficult because you don't know if somebody is there or your mind is making stuff up, right? It took me 2 years just to believe something, okay, I'm connected. Then it took me 5 years to see the full image. And I use my guide to do my healing work, with the body mechanics, pain management and all that. I use my guide, right? But it takes a lot of time and work to actually have that full connection. Now, when I do more meditations, I use my internal sound current, right?
Right.
Because when I was healing, and I used to tell my teacher, you know what, if people come, I don't know if this is right or wrong. And my teacher goes, focus on your sound current and then see what happens. And my whole thing changes. There's so many high vibration souls out there that hear the ringing in their ear really loud 24/7, right? And that's God's voice, his own voice calling the mind back, come to me. Because to get to divine, you need these homing devices to take you to him. And the light or the sound vibration, when a mind locks into him, those are the only things that can take the mind back home, nothing else.
Okay, so the sound vibration you're talking about, someone is not even practicing meditation. Sometimes they hear these sounds. And
because they're already a high vibration, so you don't have to do meditation. Maybe you came here already a high vibration of souls. Maybe that's so much work in your past lives.
Right. So that's the explanation to that. It's not necessarily cause and effect. It might already be there because of your experiences or your life or your past life.
I can give you one example. I have a buddy of mine who meditates 5 to 7 hours a day, right?
Right.
His wife never meditated. Basically drinks wine once in a while, right? Does her own happy go stuff. So one day the wife did meditation with us for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, she was hearing a sound current and she was drinking a sweet nectar. And he goes, this is unfair. I go, I already told you that the woman has done so much work in her past lives.
Right. Right.
That's why you never judge anybody. It doesn't matter. The guy has a label. I'm a spiritual person. That beggar on the street could be more high vibrational soul than you are.
Of course. Of course. Okay. So when you there's no teaching about the current and with tinnitus in the mainstream. So when someone hears this,
See, when you squeeze your jaws, like sometimes it could be medical, somebody working in a sound factory, right, or a metal factory, right. But 90% of the time I've seen it is for people that have that raise their vibration, that reduce their thoughts. When you squeeze your jaw, if the sound like goes really loud, is more likely you have the sound current. Then you got to work with the teacher to perfect it and to get it to the right sound.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many different phases that somebody could go through. I mean, let's talk a little bit about some of these other things like seeing auras and hearing messages and things like that people experience.
You don't want any of that. You don't want any of that. Basically, you do, if ever that comes to you, like you had a buddy when he was doing meditation, he used to focus on the traffic lights, and by looking at it, he could change the color.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And when he knew that, he went back and he prayed. He goes, God, I don't want this. I want the right gift. And after a few months, that disappeared. And because you don't want, those gifts are nothing to you. Why waste your time on them?
Right.
You want to learn how to go to divine. You don't want, there's so much stuff happens when you do this.
Yes.
But you don't want those gifts. There's no benefit to that.
There's no benefit to you, but is there a benefit to others? Can you help others with those gifts? Or is that even a waste of time to help someone with that gift? Because there's so many.
You know, as a healer, you can use sound current to help them, right? You can do same thing, but you got to remember, whenever you heal, right, then you're also using your own karma, and then you have to do more work on yourself. It's not that easy, right? A lot of healers, they're doing healers, but they're not doing their own meditations. Like I have to meditate from 3 to 5 in the morning, right? I got to do my morning meditations, right? And my evening meditations, but sometimes I miss out and I regret it, right?
Yeah, but you know, you speak like you have to do it, but it's a pleasure to do, right? You enjoy doing it. So it's not really a you have to. It's more your pleasure to do it, correct?
By having the right knowledge, then yes.
Yes.
Otherwise, you regret it after. Because if you take on people's energies, you're not clearing, you know how to ground yourself, you can take on the illness also.
So you mentioned things like grounding and taking on people's energies. Now, these are very new age terms as well. People use them in Reiki, people use them who are psychics. And let's talk a little bit about what those terms really mean from the true sense.
See, when I'm doing any healing sessions, I always connect with Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and I always connect with divine through white light, right?
Yeah.
I ground myself with white light, going all the way to the center of the earth, bringing you back yourself, clearing wherever I am with white light, right?
Right. Right.
Then I'm always focused on my sound current, and the sound current keeps me grounded.
So there's healing modality like pranic healing, where you get your certificate for doing pranic healing modality, and they teach you all these things, you know, protecting yourself with white light and using your hands to move through the chakras and making sure you throw the energy back to the sun. Now this is, you're learning this, but you don't have these hours of meditation behind you. Or Reiki even. When you learn Reiki, you get a certificate for doing your Reiki course, and you know, they give you all these symbols that you learn, and you know, you feel the energy in your hands, and everyone who does the course more than likely will feel it. But you haven't done these years of meditation to get there. So can you speak a little bit about that and what the benefit or danger is?
See, what it is a lot of people think I want to become a healer, but they become healer without putting their time in. I put in like 10 years now, right? Let's say if you come in front of a guy that, see, nowadays there's so much black magic, so much witchcraft happening. And I'm always shocked to see what's happening with this world. Your own moms doing witchcraft and black magic on their daughters, right? And when you have somebody working with jinns, right? And then you go up against that, I'm telling you, you better do your homework or you're going to be in a really bad situation, because those things are very powerful. Jinns are spirits that have done meditation themselves. They're the things that can close the doors, that can move objects, right?
Right.
So that's why even taking on a client, putting yourself in a situation, you got to take a guess. Is it worth for me to go there? Do I want to put myself at the risk? Sometimes the universe will put you in a situation themselves, right?
Yes, of course. I agree.
Yeah, there's always good and bad, like working in this universe, right?
So you mentioned jinns, but chances are majority of the audience that listen to this won't even know what jinns are. So can you tell them a little bit about what jinns are and what you're referring to?
See, we have spirits, we have ghosts. Like right now in this world here, we have almost 3 to 5 times more ghosts than people living on this planet, but you cannot see them, right? Jinns are spirits or ghosts that have done meditations in their life. They did something wrong, they got stuck in the middle, right? So some of these mediums or psychics, usually from in the Muslim Islam faith, right? They take control of these jinns by doing 2.5 hours of meditation every day. So when you go to these people to use them for meditations or use them for help through black magic or horoscopes and all that kind of stuff, they use those jinns to do your work. They give you a little bead, something writing that you take it home, put it underneath your pillow, but there's actually a jinn now going to do your work for you. But once, if they stop doing their 2.5 hours a day meditation, the jinn will overpower and they will take them over. Mm-hmm. I've seen people there that have gone to 3, 4 different of these people, these mediums, and maybe it could be 3 or 4 jinns working on one person.
Right, right.
It's very huge, right? Even in Canada here, I was shocked how big it is.
Oh,
there are ghost spirits that have done meditation and that can move objects.
Right. So, yeah, I just know a little bit about jinns because, of course, jinns are mentioned in the Quran. And as well, you know, heard stories from India and Africa about jinn and how they're made of fire.
When you sit on deep meditations, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, the dark, and you gone really, really deep in the nirvana states, then you can see what's around you.
Yes.
That's what a sound current is very important to get to before you do any healing or stuff, right? Because you're always protected. Nothing can come by you. Even when you go, like if you ever get to that stage, go in the forest, like middle of the night, 1 a.m., 12 a.m., 12 in the morning, and you sit in the middle of the forest. It's scary in the beginning, but after an hour, you'll see it'll start glowing. You'll start coming alive.
Wow, fascinating. So I could keep asking you question after question on the subjects that we're discussing because they're spiritual subjects.
Okay.
Tell us about 888. You're going to be there. You're going to be representing your teachings there. Tell us what people will expect when they come there.
I'm not going to have a booth there. I'm going to be basically coming in and out, helping out Manish and Teza if they need any type of help.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, yes.
because all of those people are wonderful people. Like like Ian McNeish, his wife Rita, Teza is an amazing individual. I think Zara is going to be there, right?
Sarah's going to be.
Like everybody, Tanya is going to be there too, right? Kenny, Mina, all these people are amazing. Even Cynthia, all these people are amazing people, right? I'm blessed to have them in my life.
Yes,
I think Surendra's going to be there. Surendra's going to be there, a very powerful Reiki master, right?
Yes, and I've had the pleasure of interviewing everyone, and yes, they're all beautiful, beautiful souls. I can't imagine how beautiful they are. Sometimes
You're a good person to learn if you want to get into learning. I know Surendra's opening up her own teaching now, right? She's been becoming, I think, a life coach and teaching her Reiki and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So she'd be a good person to hook up with.
Yes, I will share her. We're going to share everyone.
Surendra Barari, yeah.
We're going to share everyone's contacts on the website too. So,
Perfect.
Inshallah, everyone who's led to whoever will be able to find whoever.
They've done a lot of work on themselves. Even Tanya, and she does a lot of work on herself too, right?
Yes.
So these all are good people. Even Mina with her crystal, she can do all these crystal grids. Right. Amazing there, right? I think her sister's helping her. Irina's helping her too, right? Yes. So all these people are amazing. Like Irina too, she's an amazing person, right? So it's good to connect with all these individuals.
Absolutely.
It was actually Rena who brought us together, everybody together, right?
Right. Wow. I haven't met Rena yet. I haven't met Mina yet.
Her other name is Sandeep Kara, right? So.
Okay, I will definitely once.
She's the one who brought us all together, so she should get all the credit.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Tessa's going to put me in touch with everyone one by one. I'm interviewing them and posting their videos. So I've done about.
Thank you.
9 or 10 so far. We'll get the rest of everyone done too.
You're doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you. It's service. Thank you, Mr. Harkiran Singh. It was a pleasure talking to you in this interview, and
thank you.
We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you sharing your knowledge and wisdom with everyone as well. Hoping that the right people will see the light in what you said and receive your message and be able to work with the wisdom you've shared. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.